Now, the rest of the story.
All right, good evening and welcome back. Well, it wouldn't be a proper seeding season if we're not going through it and smoothing out some of this ground that we just put to hay. So I'm going to go ahead and do exactly that. Well, I grew up with a 4-section Lindsay Harrow, and this is a drag chain style. I'm pretty sure it's a first. No one has corrected me yet, and I want to say first because that's the first thing that comes to mind. But this style Harrow works so much better than those 4-section drag styles that we had growing up. They were a hassle to fold and unfold. This one I did in under a minute and a half. Built a lot heavier. I was the one that actually broke down that day. Today, what ended up happening is you guys looked at the bars that are actually holding the chain up on the back, up top. I lost the bolts out of 2 of those bars on this closest section here. So when I went to go and pick it up, I was starting to bend that cross beam angle iron at the top that chain is connected to, so you can raise it up. It really wasn't a big deal. 4-wheeler and an emergency. Hey Ryan, I need a couple parts, and I was up and running in about 30 seconds. So those are the kind of fixes I like to have. The ones that all it is put a couple bolts in and tighten them down, and you're good to go. This thing, I don't know how wide that Harrow we had growing up was, but I think this is right around 28 feet. I don't think it's a true 30 foot. I can cover about 2.5 of Dad's passes with the grain drill with this. And, well, it really doesn't take much to get caught back up to Dad, because it's only, I think it's like a 10-foot Harrow. 10 or 8. I'm going with 10. And Dad can't exactly make any land speed records when he's doing that, because he does have to do a good job as to watch where he's going in relation to his last pass to make sure he isn't leaving any skips. This job is the last job you do of the day. It's the last job that really gets done and gets out of the field, but it is the quickest to do. Well, I guess you could argue that running the disc and getting the ground prepped before we even seed it is fairly quick. But the thing is, there is pretty well zero drag, zero pull as far as this Harrow goes. I don't even know what's back there. Of course, when you have a 7600 on the front, not running the front wheel assist, the tractor just runs right along. I think I was going about 14th gear, might have been 15th, and just idled back and just letting her coast. Now, I've talked about the 4-section Harrows, which were a hassle, and they didn't really do that good a job as far as the ground contact you had. I tried to have it set so it was as aggressive as it could be, but it would still take at least 2 passes to do a decent enough job. This tool right here, the reason I like it so much is because the chains are making full contact to the ground. That's moving a lot more dirt, and that's really what I'm looking for. I'm looking for it to kind of throw this dirt around and kind of level the ground out. And then it's longer. I think it's probably about twice the length as far as the chains that are actually on the ground compared to that old Lindsay Harrow. 2 passes with the old Harrow would really do an okay job, but you could probably do it 3 or 4 times to do the job that this machine does in 2 passes. And really, if I wasn't doing oats ground, I probably would have went ahead and just hit it once. When I do my soybean ground, and typically the reason I do that is whenever I'm harrowing my soybean ground, I'm usually racing rain. That's just how the weather works in southwest Wisconsin. You're waiting for the ground to dry out, and then when the ground is dry, you're usually running to get done before the next rainstorm. And this machine, as a one-pass plan, especially in soybeans, works great. Even in this new seeding, I had the time, and it's not like it was costing me a lot of fuel, energy, anything else like that. So I did hit all the new seating twice, and the ground looks awesome. Now, barring any severe storms or really washouts, we're going to have some really nice seating this year, because the goal is that this ground is going to be hay for the next at least 4 to 5 years. 5 years is a pretty healthy number to look forward to. And the problem is if the field is uneven, it's rough, it's bumpy, that makes for a very long haying season, because you're looking to make 3 to 4 crops of hay off of it every year. And going across it with the disc bind, then raking it, then baling it, then going across it with the skid steer and the tractor and wagon to load the hay out. There's a lot of passes across it, and anybody that knows going across rough ground once, it's kind of a bear. So you at least want to make sure when you're at the front end of those first 5 years, like we hopefully are here, that it's going to be fairly easy on the back and the body to drive across it. And as far as this Harrow goes, we were in the market, and we actually found it online for cheap. Not like super cheap, but it was cheap. It compared to, we were actually looking for, because it's all we knew, we were looking for a 4-section Lindsay Harrow again. And just because that's what we always had. It worked. Well, we were kind of narrow-minded, and we really weren't looking around for other stuff. Well, Dad had me, and I remember this because it was actually, I was going back for a checkup after my back surgery, and we were sitting waiting to go, I think I was sitting waiting to go in, and I was sitting on my phone sifting through the internet, and I found this. And I was telling Dad about it, and Dad's like, well, how's it look? And it's like, well, as long as he still has it, because I couldn't call the guy. It's like, if the guy still has it, we're buying it. And long story short, we did go actually look at it the next day, and we brought it home. The only thing that we had wrong with this Harrow was the fact that all of the wheel seals, and I think we went through and did the bearings too. We did all 4 wheels, all the seals and everything, because it has pretty well sat outside its whole life just from looking at it. Very little use. I'm very confident that we have actually we haven't used it a whole lot in the years we've had it yet. I mean, we're really starting to ramp up here lately. But in the years we've had this, we've probably put more use on it in the first year or 2 since we've had it than it had all the years before we even bought it. Just talking to the guy that we bought it from, I think he said he only had like 10 acres total that he ever really used it on, like whenever he did use it. Granted, we did more than 10 acres the first year we had it. And it works great. The teeth, the chains, there's literally no wear on those chains when we brought it home. We were, well, this probably qualifies in the category of one of those purchases where you just get lucky. Right place, right time. You don't see these types of Harrows very often. My neighbor, I'm pretty sure he actually bought something similar to this, but it is the actual Harrow style. Like the Lindsay Harrow had like the 5-section tines on it, where it is 5 rows of tines. And that is pretty much, I think, what he has, but it's not just 5 sections. I think it's like closer to like 15 or 20. It's a similar frame and carrier like this machine is, but instead of the full contact drag chain like this machine has, it's just like the Harrow sections. And I haven't seen him run it. I'm just, don't exactly go over to the neighbors and say, hey, can I watch you run this Harrow? But I like ours. I like this wholeheartedly over anything else we could have. A quick little, let's talk about rolling field rollers really quick. Ryan and I would really like to at least try a field roller. Ryan was actually looking for one to rent here, and I don't know, he almost sounded like he was going to do it, but I don't know if it's going to fall through or not. I think he's just trying to get in contact with the people. But the whole point of a field roller, which is what this machine really fails at, field rollers actually push the rocks and levels the ground out. It flattens everything out. Now, people complain that the problem with that, or the big problem people have with that, is that with a field roller, you're compacting the soil. Yes and no. I don't exactly know if I believe that 100%. I mean, you are talking to somebody that hasn't ran one yet, but I've actually done a lot of research. I've looked into them. I've talked to a lot of people, and there you can see that bar just broke. And the problem is that for how wide they are, like say if you got a 20-30 foot roller, it's covering such a wide area for the weight that they are, that they're not compacting the ground like as deep as people would really think. What it really does is, like, if it hits a rock, it'll smash that rock back down to the ground, and it saves the wear and tear on like your disc bine, your hay bine. If you're doing soybean stubble, it allows you to run the soybean platform right down flat on the ground, and it lets you pick up all of the crop that, well, like soybeans, they literally grow the whole length of the plant right down to the ground. So the advantages of being able to run your combine head flat on the ground are very huge. I've heard that those rolling rollers, I keep wanting to call them rolling baskets right now, but I've heard that those rollers can actually gain you another 5 bushels to the acre in soybeans, just from the fact that you're able to run the head completely on the ground and then just let it do its job, because they're flex heads for a reason. They're supposed to follow the contour of the ground. So we have actually talked about it. I can sit and talk until I'm blue in the face about why I'm not buying equipment right now. It's fun to talk about equipment. Ryan was actually looking at, well, he was actually just looking around online as far as who actually has rolling baskets again, field rollers. And he actually found a Diegelman. I never knew Diegelman actually did field rollers, but he actually found what it looked like a really nice one for just randomly looking online. But it was a 20-foot Diegelman single roller. And I think they wanted $6,000 for it. I don't know a whole lot about rollers. I haven't looked into them. I haven't priced around. But for a 20-foot, which is probably what I would be interested in, for the simple fact that I know what I'd probably put it on, and the 7600 would probably be the one that gets hooked onto the field roller. It's not a huge tractor, so I don't know if I'd really want a really big roller behind it, because we do have more of these contour rolling hills. It gets kind of steep on the farm that I'm on. If you go, if straight from the tractor right there, yeah, actually the direction I'm going right now, there's a pond, and it gets really steep up around that pond. And I don't know how much a roller would actually push a tractor. I actually been thinking about it, but I probably would have to put another set of rear wheel weights, as you can see them on the rims anyway, on the 76 again. I like the ones I have on it, but if need be, I have no problem putting on another set. Oh, my throat's getting dry, so yeah, between the three, a field roller, this drag chain Harrow, or the old school, I'm going to call it old school, the 4-section style Harrows that everyone was running when I was growing up, it would probably go in exactly that order. It would be this machine, the drag chain Harrow, a field roller, and then if I got really desperate, back to the 4-section Lindsay Harrow. So I really like this machine, and for how simple it is, there's not much on it that's really going to break as far as wear and tearing. I think the thing that really gives me the most problems on it when we do go to pull it out of the machine shed is, see this tire that we're looking at? Assuming that my videos are lining up here. This front tire here was actually a little low, and I think I don't know if it has a slow leak on it yet. I actually have to go look at it. So, all right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Take care. Take it easy. Keep in touch. If you guys are curious as to why these videos are kind of taking their time to get through, why we don't have any planting videos out yet, it is still April. Yes, I'm actually behind in my videos. I got both computers running at full capacity. I'm trying to get everything uploaded for you that I have. Planting videos are probably going to be here any day now, in the very short term. Instagram, if you guys are curious as to where I'm actually standing on my videos, you're probably going to have to check out Instagram. The rest of the story, Travis, I think is what it is, because I do post a little bit as far as what I'm all doing. I mean, that Instagram is pretty current. But as far as the online videos go, I'm trying to get them uploaded and edited and uploaded as fast as I can. It was 3 o'clock in the morning 2 nights ago, just to get the last couple videos you guys have been watching edited and uploaded. So that's enough of that. Any questions, concerns, if you guys want to contact me, I think it's pretty obvious you know where to find me between the comments down below, and those of you that are sending me emails, I'm trying to keep up with your questions, and we'll leave it at that. So I guess I'll be talking to you guys tomorrow. Bye.